Okay, this is a really fun one. This is Grade Topo Mod mini workflow. And this shows really quickly how the Grade Topo Mod works. And you can see right here that we have this zone. And if I just delete this zone, you can see what happens when I remove it. So this is the existing topography, and we're just using a surface to create an example to define this. You can replace any of these geometries with your own geometries. But if I hit undo, Control Z, and bring that surface back onto that layer, the Grasshopper script automatically reads anything from that topo grading geometry layer, and it it's resampling the topography mesh, and then it's regrading according to those geometries. So first, what it does is it snaps stuff to the actual grade of any surface or point or curve, for that matter, that we have. And then it has an offset value, and we can actually change that offset value. Let me move this up here. It should be up here. And so I can change this from 1.2 to, I just slid it down to 0.8. And so it's that offset is a little smaller. And then it takes and grades down here at a 45% slope. That's a percent slope. So the other thing you can see happening that you just want to note is in these areas, for example, where two conflicting things are influencing this, even on one particular object. So it's on either side of the object that are influencing it. It's going to create a bit of a discrepancy here. If you're trying to tell it be at exactly 45 degrees slope and be exactly 45 degrees here, there's going to be a conflict and there's going to be a rift there. And so there's a number of ways to fix that, but this just illustrates kind of exactly how this tool works. You see this in a much more dramatic way here, where you have points that essentially create a cone where each point is at a 45-degree slope with the kind of a capped end there. And then you can see how a curve in space would create essentially a center line that you could use as almost to define a path if you wanted to. So and then it ties in the grading here. But if we were to say, oh, well, maybe this path needs to be higher, you lift it up and it ties the grading in. Um, you know, so just be careful though. In this case, it doesn't hit the grade because it's not steep enough. And so it's going to go until the boundary here where we've defined a max limit for our grading operation. So you could use that limit to define maybe where a wall might go, or if you're getting grading happening further out a field than you should, you could use a boundary for a similar um, a similar way of limiting that operation. If I just open this up very quickly, we're creating topography using a geoset from an existing surface that we're bringing in. Just again, as an example, we add that to a geoset, we create topo, and then we're smoothing the topography within those boundaries that we're defining, these purple boundaries. And if I turn this on, you can see that we are resampling inside of those zones, and then it's pushing and pulling those points in that mesh according to the rules that we're setting up, which are, a certain slope, a certain offset, and using geometries that are in space, that are in 3D, located at particular elevations and have certain three-dimensional shapes. It will respond to those shapes. For example, oops. It responds to the shape of the curve, right? And if this had a shape to it, it would respond to that shape, but it's fairly flat. Well, we do see that it's rotated And so we can see that we can very simply tilt a plane and get grading off of that surface. So I think that's mostly it. If we want to bake that topography, we can hit bake proposed, and it looks like it's baking the slope analysis. We can have it bake something else if we wanted it to. So this is where the modifications come in. So you could go here. It's actually analyzing the slope and breaking that into different slope zones. We may actually just want to use this to preview, and then we do just a mesh. And we only bake the one. I'm gonna put that on that layer. I'm going to make this mesh here, geometry, and then we're not going to preview the mesh. We're going to preview the slope and colors. That's interesting. Oh, I knew there was something still showing. Yeah. So it's really important to hide and show things that you want to show or don't want to show. And therefore kind of defining your workflow in this way. Okay. That's grading slopes with the slope mod.